What's going on, FA Nation? Justin Fensterman here, and what's this? It's your 2022 Fantasy Football Championship trophy after you crush it this year by rolling with the FA family. It's time for another episode of ADP TV. I'm going to go over some fantasy football average draft positions of some of the trendy players. Let's talk about which players are trending up and others that are trending down when it comes to ADP, especially with what we should expect to see over the next few weeks. Let's get right down to the action. Let's start with a few players who should see their average draft position rise in the next few weeks, and let's start with Chris Godwin. After seeing Chris Godwin not put on the PUP list after having ACL surgery earlier this year, it's impressive to see him practicing and going as a sixth-round pick. You're not going to be seeing that for much longer. As the month of August continues, expect to see him climb up on draft boards. This is a guy who had nearly 100 receptions in 14 games last season. His quarterback, Tom Brady, threw over 700 passes, and not much will change when it comes to his role despite personnel around him changing, but Chris Godwin's ADP is certainly on the rise. Another player who should see his ADP rise, and I'm loving the value that we're getting on Ezekiel Elliott, mid-fourth round. This is a guy who was playing hurt and had a big old brace on his legs and couldn't get in the cut last season. Healthier offensive line for the Cowboys heading into this year. And let's not forget, Zeke still rushed for over 1,000 yards and had 12 total touchdowns. Liking this value. And I think while all of us are still keeping an eye on Tony Pollard, Zeke should still be the featured running back. And mid-fourth round, really love that value. And it should climb a little bit as we continue through the month of August. Final player on the rise, Michael Thomas, another player who's back from injury, and seeing him on the field and seeing all those videos that I was just talking about will draw appeal to Thomas. We know how good Thomas can be. Can't guard Mike, right? Michael Thomas, when healthy, is one of the most skilled receivers. He has that pass-happy Jameis Winston throwing him the football. And with Alvin Kamara's status still in question, the Saints could look to favor their passing game over their run game, even if Kamara plays, who was not as effective on the ground last year. Thomas should still get targeted well over 100 times as long as he stays healthy. That's going to be the big question because the last 2 years, he hasn't been. Now for players whose average draft positions should be trending down, let's start with Russell Gage. Not only the news of Chris Godwin not being on the PUP list, but also the Bucs signing of Julio Jones poses a threat to Gage and his targets, and that could draw fantasy football players away from Gage. The big question is, though, whether or not Tom Brady can still find ways to feed Gage and his plethora of other receiving options, and that includes Leonard Fournette, who can catch passes as well from the backfield. Gage could still hold value, but he is far less appealing than he was 2 weeks ago. Gage has had multiple seasons with over 700 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, but could he be marginalized now that Godwin is healthy and Jones is on the team? That remains to be seen. Another player unsure about his role, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. First, the health. He's missed a handful of games in his first couple of years of his career, currently going in the middle of the 7th round in 12-team leagues. Will he be getting the carries, or will it be somebody else like a Ronald Jones or another option? When it comes to what Clyde Edwards-Helaire could do when he gets the rock, when he gets hit, he goes down, and they could trust someone like a Ronald Jones, especially on the goal line. What about the passing game? Will we be seeing him get as much action in the passing game? Unknown. And because of all this confusion, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 7th round, staying off of him. Another player who could be trending down, Chase Edmonds. How will he be utilized? Asking similar questions as we are to CEH. The Dolphins have multiple running backs. And when it comes to Edmonds, he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns and could easily be vultured by Raheem Mostert or even Sony Michel. While he has been active in the passing game throughout his career, the Dolphins have a ton of pass catchers. Edmonds is still going as an 8th round pick in 12-team leagues, and the Dolphins did make improvements on their offensive line, and Edmonds did run for over 5 yards per carry last year, but the big question is, will he get the volume? That is what we're all asking.